Welcome to the second day of 75 days NEET challenge, and in today's video we'll do the reproductive health. So there are two things very important we should know. Is one is the infant mortality rate and the maternal mortality rate. With the name mortality suggests how many mothers or the infants are dying during the process of birth of a child. After infant and maternal mortality rate, we should also talk about the various programs that the government run, which was, for example, Hum Do, Hamare Do. That means a couple should have two children to curb the population of India. Secondly, what we should know are the various contraceptives that are promoted by the government. For example, Sahili, it was developed by CDRI Lucknow. It was developed by CDRI Lucknow, and it was a oral contraceptive. It was a oral contraceptive for the females. It was developed by CDRI Lucknow and it was a oral contraceptive for females. Let's now study about other kinds of contraceptive or the birth control method. The first method that we'll talk about is a natural method. First is periodic abstinence. For example, while the periods is taking place, a couple can abstain from having intercourse between 10 to 17 days where the periods are taking place, where there is high chance of fertilization. So this is known as periodic abstinence. So periodic abstinence is the first place where we can do that. Second is lactational amenorrhea. Lactational amenorrhea. Now, what happens when a mother gives birth to a child? There is certain periods when the mother is lactating, when the mother is feeding the baby with the milk, then there are very low chances of fertilization. So that is a period which is known as lactational amenorrhea. After that, we will talk about certain methods of contraceptive such as the barrier methods. One of the barrier methods that we'll talk about is condom. Now, condoms are available for both the females and the males. Now, condoms, they are made from latex sheet. They are made from latex. It is to cover the penis in males and to cover the cervix and vagina in the females. Cervix, penis, and the cervix and vagina in the females. Now, after that, we will study about other kind of contraceptives such as diaphragms, the cervical caps, and the walls. These are used for the female as a contraceptive and generally covers the cervix region in the females. Now we should also study about very important terms which are IUDs and which are generally asked in the examination a lot of times. IUDs are known as inter in, intrauterine devices, intrauterine devices such as, and I'll also tell you the mnemonic to learn the IUDs. When we talk about IUDs, it is first of all non-medicated. These are the lips loop. Lips loop are the non-medicated. Lips loop are the non-medicated. You can remember lips. We don't apply medicine near the lips, right? It can go inside the mouth. So lips loop, they are non-medicated. Then you have copper releasing IUDs. Then you have copper releasing IUDs such as CUT, CU7 and multi-load 375. First, you have the non-medicated lips loop, and then you have the copper releasing, which are CUT, CU7, and multi-load The last one you have are the hormone releasing IUDs, which are progesterone and LNG-20. Now what happens? The copper releasing the IUDs and others, they act as phag phagocytosis. That means over here they kill the sperms. When they kill the sperms won't be able to fertilize the ovum. After that, there are oral administration of either progesterone or progesterone and estrogen both, either only P or P or E both. What happens in the females? In the females, there is a gap of 7 days when the fertilization is not taking place, when fertilization cannot take. Apart from that, these pills should be taken for 21 days to prevent the baby, or we can say to prevent the conception or the formation of body. We in the previous part of the video, I've told you about Saheli, which is a contraceptive developed by the CDRI Lucknow. Saheli, we should also know that it is non-steroidal. There is no medicine is there, and it is also known as once a week pill because it has to be taken only once a week by the girl to prevent the conception. Now after that, we have learned that either it is the progesterone or progesterone estrogen, right? We can also take as implants or injections under the skin, and generally this should be within 72 hours or 3 days of the coitus. Now, these are the methods. Either we are taking the pill or we are using something to prevent the conception or the formation of baby to happen. Now, we should learn about two very, very important things, which are the surgical methods. Now, when we talk about the surgical methods are generally said to be non-reversible surgical methods, and the two surgical methods for both males and females we'll study about. For the females, first we'll talk about the females, which is tubectomy. I'll also tell you the mnemonic how you can remember it. This for males it is vasectomy. Now guys, it's very easy how you can remember it. This is for female. I'll change the color. This is for female. This is for male. So, have you ever heard of a FM radio? So, with FM, you can remember it, and TV. So, F, M, and T, V, female tubectomy, and the males, it is vasectomy. This is how you can remember it. It's very, very simple. Now, very, very important from the exam point of view are the MTPs. These are very important, and rapidly the questions are asked in the examination over the years. MTP means the medical termination of pregnancy. Medical termination of pregnancy are the MTPs. Now, how many MTPs are usually 15, sorry, 45 to 50 million MTPs are taken per year. MTPs are also known as to be the induced abortions. Induced abortions. Now, MTVs are said to be legalized in only way where it can be emotionally, ethically, or religious or socially. We have to see the parameters they can lie on. But if the life is in danger for the mother or the baby, we can perform the MTPs. MTPs are safer generally during the first trimester. First trimester means during the first 3 months. After that, it is not considered to be very, very safe for the mother, and during the first trimester it is safe. During the second trimester it is risky, but still it can be performed by the professional doctors and not the quacks. It should be performed by the professional doctors only. After that, we have to study, if we don't use the contraceptives, two things can happen. Either pregnancy, or there are chances of the STDs. STDs are nothing but the sexually transmitted disease. Other name of STDs is VD, which is known as venereal diseases. The venereal diseases. And the third is RTI, which is known as the reproductive tract infections. To save from these three things, we use the prevention method, so that we can save ourselves from this, plus the conception of the baby. Now let's talk about STDs a little bit more in detail. Most of the STDs are can be life threatening. For example, the HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS can be life threatening, and if we talk about HIV/AIDS and hepatitis B, specifically these two can be easily spread through the injections. If you are using a contaminated injection, HIV and hepatitis B can be spread from an infected person to a normal person. What are the common ways how to prevent the STDs? Is one, you should not have intercourse with multiple partners, using preventive methods, and if you have any doubt, visiting a doctor in the above case. Now, what can happen while a couple is trying for the intercourse and for the conception? If that doesn't happen, this is known as infertility. Infertility is where a couple is not able to conceive. So what we can do over here, one of the methods that we use is in vitro fertilization, which is famously known as IVF. In that, what happens? Ovum is taken from the female and sperm is taken from the male, and they are taken inside a laboratory where they are fertilized. When they are fertilized inside in lab, when they are fertilized, when they are fertilized, we know zygote will transfer into embryo. We know that the zygote will transfer into embryo, and that's why it is known as the embryo transfer. Now this embryo is transferred inside the mother, so that the mother. Now the last thing to study in this chapter is about the in vitro fertilization. We have studied, now it's in vivo fertilization, in which the gametes within the female is transferred to the female who cannot conceive. For example, we can say the GIFT, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer, in which a female who cannot conceive but can produce one is having the ovum from another woman so that she can conceive. Then we have ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, in which in the laboratory the sperm is directly injected inside the ovum. That is also the artificial insemination we can talk about. In the technique, the semen is collected from the healthy donor and artificially introduced into the vagina, which is the intrauterine insemination, which is in the female. So we have studied about a lot of things. Firstly, we have studied about the in vitro fertilization, in which when they are not able to conceive, both the sperms and the ovums are taken into a laboratory, which is also known as the test tube baby. The if up to 8 blastomeres, it is in the fallopian tube. 8 plus, it is inside the uterus. That is very common because initially the fertilization was taking place inside the fallopian tube only. Then we have the GIFT, where it is transferred from a woman who can produce ovum but cannot conceive, or to a woman who can conceive. This is what the GIFT. And when there is a low sperm count, we can do the artificial insemination, where it is directly injected inside the woman so that a mother can conceive. So this was a simple chapter. In this 10-minute video, we have covered the entire chapter, entire important points. What is IMR, what is MMR, what is infant mortality rate, what is maternal mortality rate. And in this chapter, we also did a mnemonic, that is FM and TV, female tubectomy and male vasectomy. If you have any doubts regarding this chapter, you can pin down in the comment section. And for the next 75 days, we are doing 50 chapters on this channel. Do join this channel for more such videos and subscribe.